By the time Joel Boner was 30 years old, he had lived on a chicken farm in Oklahoma, attended culinary school in Hawaii, and visited the Philippines, Thailand, and Cambodia. He traveled alone and enjoyed nature. On July 22, 2009, he was sleeping in his tent in a makeshift campsite in Florida when two young men attacked him.
We have just learned that John Hawthorne has been charged with first-degree murder. He is the Ocoee man who is accused of the brutal stabbing death of a homeless man.
When the Boner family learned of Joel's death, they were upset that he was described as homeless. They said camping was simply the lifestyle he chose. But Joel's uncle, Lon Boner, says living that way made Joel a target.
They label something so that then they feel empowered and okay to take whatever action they want.
The National Coalition for the Homeless documented more than 1,000 attacks on the homeless in 2009. Leading the way, Florida and California, accounting for 100-plus attacks each. 43 violent deaths were reported across the U.S., the highest number in a decade. 4 of those deaths were in Florida. The coalition includes Joel Boner among them. According to the report, nearly 80% of homeless attacks nationwide were committed by males under 25. Attacks like these have been widely reported on in Florida. This is 45-year-old Norris Gaynor. In 2006, the homeless veteran was sleeping on a park bench in Fort Lauderdale when Brian Hooks and Thomas Doherty beat him to death with a baseball bat. They were convicted of second-degree murder. For the teens and one other friend, assaulting the homeless was a sport. A school surveillance video recorded the same boys beating 58-year-old Jacques Pierre, and in a separate incident that night, another beating, that of Raymond Perez. They were listed in critical condition for several days, but survived. This is 54-year-old August Felix. He was severely kicked, punched, and beaten with a blunt object. Felix was living near railroad tracks in Orlando when police say a group of teenagers attacked him for fun. 1 month later, he died. This is 53-year-old Michael Roberts. In May of 2005, 4 teens aged 14 through 18 went into the woods in Holly Hill, Florida. Under the influence of drugs, they beat him to death.
And they were so proud of their actions that they showed off the blood-splattered shoes they were wearing and treated his broken, lifeless body as their trophy, parading friends through the woods to look at it. They listened to him as he cried out for help and begged them to stop. They continued, Your Honor, to listen to him until he began to choke on his own blood, taking his last few strangled breaths.
Joel Boner was found near the Ocoee 7-Eleven gasping for air. He had a dozen stab wounds. Vicious acts on a man so peaceful, his family said, he wouldn't hurt a fly. In Florida, legislators have taken steps to combat violence against the homeless. On October 1st, offenses targeting the homeless were reclassified as hate crimes. Perpetrators will now receive stricter penalties.